Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm Christine Schiavone, and our show is Spiritual Exploration. Tonight, we're going to talk about the role of the Philippines in the Ascension process. Now, a lot of people probably don't have any real knowledge of what the Ascension process is and how we ascend so that when we leave this earth, we go somewhere. And when we do, hopefully we are ascending and not descending.
Well, I'm 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 talking more about the Earth ascending too, not that type of ascension. But it's not about leaving
I
our
like to
bodies.
make a joke every
That's true
now
too. I
and
know
then.
exactly. I know.
And
Although,
now that we're talking, I would like to introduce you to Stephen Popiotek, who is my guest tonight, who has been a guest on many occasions, a
yes,
welcome guest and a very knowledgeable guest. And now he's been spending a lot of time in the Philippines. He likes it there.
so funny. It's good. It's good to be back on the show, Christine.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
glad to have you back.
Yeah.
And anyway, though, so so he has really been studying the ascension process there and what the Philippines, the role that this country plays in the ascension process. I imagine now that he's brought that up, well, we talked about it before the show, that every country has some kind of uh, uh, role in the ascension process, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, we've also done a few shows about the ascension process and from
Well,
different angles. I mean, in terms of me and Christine talking about it from different perspectives, especially from the extraterrestrial and from the solar magnetic. So,
explain to our
yeah,
audience.
I'm trying to give you some good press for previous shows too.
Yes, oh, of course, of
So
course.
definitely
Well, all they have to
people
do
should,
is
yeah,
go to YouTube and they can see the previous shows.
definitely.
So you just have to look for your name with mine, and you'll see a lot of previous shows that
Yeah.
Stephen and I have done together, and some of which have had to do with the ascension process.
Oh, we've definitely had a lot of good material that I don't want to reiterate all of that, obviously.
No, you don't want to reiterate all of that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
because especially that people can go just to the YouTube and look
Exactly.
it up.
Exactly.
But in the meantime, though, just give us a brief
Sure.
explanation of what is the ascension
Well, I mean,
process.
yes, and it's it's both personal and collective. The ascension process. It has to do with the. I mean, every major religion's talked about aspects of this from all the different ascended masters, different prophets from indigenous cultures to mystics and shamans in the past. They've all seen visions of like the new earth, the new kingdom of the where love is the foundation of all reality. The whole idea, and in a modern age, I mean, there's whole movements. Millions of people. You could find hundreds of thousands of people in Facebook groups who talk about star seeds and the ascension process, and it's become a big movement globally. And there's many books have been written about various aspects of it. And at a base level, it's the evolution of our humanity to the new level of consciousness, where love becomes the foundation vibration.
Sounds like
You know,
a beautiful world.
absolutely. And the thing is that it starts with a it's well, that's one of the main reasons why Yeshua or Jesus had preached so much about love and saying that was the key to accessing the idea of like the new kingdom. And this is because this Christ level consciousness, this love energy is essential to cultivate personally and collectively. But the Earth, Mother Father Earth has been doing the same thing, and so she's undergoing fundamental shifts on a quantum level to raise her vibration so that
But
she
not
becomes the
everybody
school.
gets to ascend, right?
Oh, well, yeah, this is, of course, a lot of people are not going to be around necessarily in the same body, I mean, because the vibration is very contrastive. So it's a process to get to that. And the problem is that a lot of negative groups and forces have been trying to slow down our personal DNA from evolving to be able to hold that new energy. And they've also done a lot of effort trying to suppress different parts of the earth from being able to properly evolve on that quantum level as well because they want to keep people more in the matrix of control, limitation, division, conflict, war, all the opposite anti-ascension kind of themes, and
Oh,
is
sure. And
what
all the
they're
devil worship and all that stuff
that's
that goes
that's all.
on.
It's like tree of death versus tree of life. So they're all trying to create more of a shadow version of it to keep people stuck in and the old realm, so that we're not able to properly move forward. But Earth is going to move forward irregardless, right? And
Good.
so it's just like, all right, I'm going to do this either easily or gently or gracefully, or I'm going to do it shaking a lot more violently. So this is why. So it takes up a larger idea, but in one of the episodes we talk more about it as well. That there's an evolution towards 24 strands of our DNA with part of the ascension process, and everyone at that point, when it's fully developed, has more mind over matter abilities, and this is where a lot of our positive galactic civilizations are wanting to help us, because they've all ascended. The ones that are positive, of course, the ones that are on the opposite side have their own shadow ascension, which is more like a descension.
That's what I was talking about.
Is in the beginning, exactly. But it is evolved in their side because they also have powerful abilities on the dark as well that they use to obviously.
I don't
misalign.
understand that
Yeah.
way of thinking.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's it's there. I mean, just all you have to do is watch what's going on in parts of the or parts of the world in our history, and to
Yeah.
understand part of that. But if there's so much that's going on behind the scenes that is on a much bigger scale than we realize, that have been influencing us. I mean, everything that there's been such a concerted effort to slow down this process of our growth, from the chemicals they spray in the air, to the GMOs, to various genetic engineering projects, to different frequency weapon systems. It's a lot. I don't want to go into that topic because that's a whole multi-hour.
That's a whole nother
yeah,
show.
yeah. It's more like the saboteurs of Ascension. I mean, I'll talk a little bit about it in regards to this today because there is relevancy, but I want to frame the Philippines part first, and then we can make a bridge.
Go right ahead.
So originally, before I went to the Philippines, this was my second time, and I was here now the longest. I was there the longest now. I was there for just under 6 months. I just came back at the beginning of August. And I was there last year for the first time for about 6 weeks. Now, several years ago, I originally had a dream about the Philippines. Dream, quote unquote. I mean, half my dreams are not normal because I go out of body and have a lot of meetings with higher beings and angels and aliens and guides and other friends on the spirit realm when I sleep half the time, or I start scanning other locations, so I visit other places. Or my guides will take me to other locations to see things that are going on. So there was one where they were showing me, I was hovering over the Philippines astrally in the dream plane, or out of body, I should say, and I was being shown. It looked like these really interesting effect in the sky that looked like these windows in the sky that were forming inside these ripples. Think of like dropping rocks in a pool of water and you make the ripples.
Yeah.
And some of the ripples will intersect. But imagine each ripple was really a ripple in time from a different solar civilization, like ancient culture, from ancient Egypt, from the Mayans, from Atlantis, Lemuria, from different solar
Like
cultures.
going back in time?
Well, certain civilizations that understood the power of the sun, that worked with the sun, like the Egyptians and the Mayans, for example. There are ripples in time from then to now, and they converge over part of the Philippines at certain time periods. And I was like, wow, that's really intriguing. Even the idea is intriguing because would never think, I'm like, why? Also maybe think why there specifically, which I didn't come to know. Oh, nice. Okay. You also switched the picture. Yeah, I see your nice little
Well, that's beautiful.
phoenix energy there showing up in the cloud there after doing some.
Is that a sunset?
Yeah, and definitely look at that higher solar bird cloud energy there is very powerful.
Wow.
A lot of angelic. That's on the island of Boracay, which I spent a lot of time. The previous picture people were seeing there were the sacred mounds in the island called Bohol, where we did some big work at in early May. Both this, I'll be going and talking about Boracay as well because it's a very special island there. That was kind of like a little sub project I had. So that area in Bohol so let me fast forward. So after that first out of body experience of seeing those ripples in time from solar civilizations, years later, then Philippines came up under my radar for a few different reasons. We're doing some grid work, and then that location popped up, and I was like, oh wow, there's definitely some energy brewing there. And I was in the St. Martin in the Caribbean, and that's where I first had gotten messages from doing work out there, because there are some ancient Atlantean crystals and temples all around the Caribbean, of course, but in St. Martin as well. And they were showing me that I needed to go to the Philippines when I first went last year to start a process that was going to take a while that had to do with this phoenix process, they called it, or like the awakening of Mother Earth's inner phoenix, which was part of the ascension process. And that they were showing me that there were 7 locations around the planet that were going to get activated within a similar time
And
frame.
the Philippines is one of them.
One of the 7 locations, yeah.
Are you going to visit the other 6?
No. Yeah, some I would like, some be interesting, but other ones no. It's not needed to go there physically, unless I really get the pull. There's some locations are there was a lot of interference going on. We had to do a lot of group work as well on Zoom, and people calling in to help call in extra light and reinforcements to be able to counteract some of the dark groups, because there were dark groups gathering out of 5 of the 7 locations, and they were trying to block the energy and suppress it and invert it, twist it, then dam it up, because they don't want Mother Earth to open up these new sacred
Of
vortexes.
course not, but
It's like blocking our
and
Kundalini.
I don't know why they're going through the trouble. Tell you the truth, leave it alone.
Well, no, they've invested how many trillions of dollars in creating controlled society. so for them, it's like they're gonna they want their bigger war scenario, so they're gonna fight to the very end. Unfortunately.
Well, they can keep fighting because they're not going to win.
Exactly. But they're definitely becoming a pain in our collective butt right now. That's for sure. They're definitely stepping up their game. So this, and I got a lot of remote work at places, but that's this one. They're like, yeah, you need to be there physically and kind of be like the mother, like more like a father version of like the goose sitting on the phoenix egg in the Philippines. So I've worked with the phoenix energy. I think we've actually did an episode. Didn't we do an episode just about the phoenix before? Maybe I don't remember.
We've done so many
I
shows.
know. On some of the ancient Egyptian, about the Egyptians and ETs, we talked about the phoenix there. I feel like we might have done a show on the phoenix. I can't remember. Anyway,
be.
but the point is that, yeah.
Have to look it up
or
on YouTube.
Maybe also on like, 3 years ago. Okay, we're being told we actually did a
Wow,
show
he
on the phoenix
remembers.
there. Yeah, and I have another one on solar mysticism on my YouTube channel as well, where I talk more about the history of solar mysticism. Those are also helpful to people to frame, the bigger picture. And so these, so then fast forward, when I went last year, but prior to that, the guides were telling me also, when I went last year there, I had an experience where I also went out of body. First day I went into Philippines, I was actually in Manila, which I'm not that a big fan of that area. It's a lot of heavy energy there, very, very intense pollution
Probably
there.
a lot from the World War.
Well, no, there's just so much development. They have worse traffic in Manila than they do in LA and New York. So.
Well, I'm sure there was a lot of energy left behind.
Oh, the energy, yeah.
Because my father was in the army during World War II, and he was stationed in the Philippines,
Oh, no, really? Oh, wow.
in Manila, I believe.
Funny. That's interesting. So that makes a good full circle. Of course, there are pockets. I mean, Metro Manila is very big. It's made of a lot of cities around Manila proper. So some areas do feel good, other ones, but it's very dense. And coming from New York, I want to be in a more relaxed area. And there was definitely some heavier, darker energy that was coming up a lot for me in that area that I wasn't supposed to really engage with. So I just did more like short trips to Manila area. From there is, more in Cebu City, and then take a ferry to Bohol, which is where the picture we have in the background of the mounds called
That's beautiful.
Chocolate Hills. They're referred to.
Is that all mountains behind it?
Those are all special mounds that there's a whole grid of them. There's 1,700 of them, all in this one area, on this one part of an island.
Are they man-made?
Oh, they're definitely made by higher extraterrestrial influences. 100% more alien based. I would say, put it that way. It's not just like native mounds we have here in different indigenous cultures. There's definitely stuff that's energetically present and physically buried there, but you're not allowed to dig there. There's no archaeological
What would you be
access
digging
there.
for?
Well, I mean, like what you do anywhere else. You want to find, like for example, Indonesia, which is so close to the Philippines, they found, the oldest pyramid in the world now is there.
A lot of artifacts.
Well, the oldest
and stuff.
pyramid in the world is looked like a mountain, but it's a giant pyramid. It's
Really?
old. It's like
It's even older than the
it's like
Egyptian?
It's over 20,000 years old. Yeah,
Whoa.
it's in Java. Yeah, because so much of that area in the South Pacific, Philippines, Indonesia, parts of Japan, Hawaii, the Fiji, a lot of those islands, they all were part of the ancient continent of Lemuria, just like Caribbean islands were part of Atlantis, right? And in Lemuria, that's where a lot of the tribal people, they used to call it Mu, right? Or Lemuria, and they also found they actually did find more recent ruins when I was out there of certain shipbuilding technology they had that was going back 35,000 years in the Philippines that was whole different
Wow.
level of technology than they realized people had.
It's hard to imagine that far back.
Well, but that's that because we're so programmed to think about small time periods. Then
Yeah, yeah.
that's part of our
Well,
brainwashing.
since we don't live that long.
Well, yeah. But it's also part of our brainwashing where they only want to isolate us and think like, oh, this is only this tiny bit of life and history. This is what we've done. It's like, no, we've done so much more before that. They just want to, they just made humanity stupid, over and over again. It's like, Jesus. Now they want to, you can see it with the AI trying to replace people's third eye, so you can't even see this deeper magic that's happening around you because you're so focused on your screen only. And anyway, but so this ancient continent, Lemuria, is also part of why the Philippines has some of this magic and power, and a lot of indigenous tribes that were in the Philippines. I mean, still, they called some of them like the enchanted beings, like the Encantos, and they have their version of shamans and like medicine people. Some that like other traditions that do both good things and other ones do bad things.
Well,
just like
it's
just
wherever
like
you go.
yeah, exactly. So it's even though as a framework, Philippines is the only official Christian Asian nation, which is interesting in context, just in terms of
Really?
the other stuff going around. So, well, with the Spanish, I colonized them, so they still have a lot of that kind of control mechanism for the Catholic Church still kind of ingrained there, right? So there's positive side, of course, of the Christianity, and then there's the shadow side, which we all know about. So it has different influences, but it's just a fascinating idea because we're talking about the phoenix and the Christ symbolism of the sun and the heart awakening. So that is a beautiful kind of flame to fan. With the idea of love, and the Filipino people, there's so much love when you go around there. Everybody, some people are singing and dancing. It's like the musical theater country, I call it, because they're so very talented. But that's also because there's a deeper energetic vibration that saturates even in the heavier areas if you tap into it, and it is part of this Leo sun energy, and so the reason why some of that solar ripples in time I mentioned before is anchoring there. They were showing it to me last year first, where I went out of body again, this time, also in the dream plane, and I was going deeper into the earth, into the mantle, right, deeper in the earth, there was looked like a crystalline temple, beautiful crystal pillars, a bit higher dimensional realm, of course, where it was a solar phoenix temple where they were calling it a temple of the solar logos. That basically where it was like literally like a temple of the god of the sun energy, that part of the God that's present in our sun, anchors into that area. So it's like an extension of divinity that wants to hold the earth through the sun. So it becomes like a mirror or like a hidden connection from the earth to the sun that's accessible through certain areas of the Philippines. And the solar temple of God, basically, that's in the mantle underneath part of the Philippines. One of those pillars, where each pillar really is like a crystalline phoenix energy, but one of the pillars there literally goes into Bohol and into the Chocolate Hills, the mountains over here I'm showing you.
They call them Chocolate Hills?
Well, yeah, because of the color.
Well, I see that,
It'll alternate depending upon when it's raining or not raining. So if it rains, it turns more of the chocolatey color. If it's not, it dries up, becomes more green, like the beautiful lush green all around it.
Right.
But on these mounds, you have some kind of unique shrubbery that makes it really, really dense. So you really can't climb on the normal ones because it's so dense. You can't get through unless you're cutting a path through it with a machete or something. But there's one public touristy mound that people all go to, right, take pictures. But that one, energy is really not there. It's pretty from the view. I managed to find, there's actually two other mounds. One I found through another just series of synchronicities. I actually taught some local tour guides to get me there because they didn't even know it was there, because there was one of the farmers carved a path up his mound that his land was on, and so people can go up there, but most people don't know it exists because everyone's going to the tourist mound, right?
Oh,
And even a lot of locals don't even know about it. So
Really?
finally, this year when I came back, there was a woman there who was selling some treats in front of it, and she was trying to tell people, hey, you can come up here, just leave a little donation if you want. And you walk by like a little farm area there first, and there's a path you go up, make a spiral path up to the top of the mound, where part of it's cleared on top as well. And that one has all the energy, has incredible energy in that
And
one.
these are man-made mounds.
Well, but they're not going to advertise. Well, no, these are alien-made mounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, these are not.
But in other words, they weren't natural.
Well, I mean, there's 1,700 of them, so there's a lot,
That's right, yeah, you said that
I mean,
before.
but the official public story by the Philippine government is going to be like, oh, well, they were actually formed in the bottom of the ocean and 1,000 years ago only, and they all came up and the water receded, but yet they won't allow any digs. I'm like, no, these are not made by some ocean phenomena. Stop. This is part of the cover story. maybe. Like they do in other areas.
1,700 must take up a lot of space.
But it's amazing because it's all within a certain region of the island. You go other parts of it, and it covers a big chunk of it, for sure. It's a lot, and the and they're spread around that area. So, but like I said, a lot of them most of you can't really access. And so, but thank God that first one I was able to go up last time, and I went back again this time with a few people and did a Zoom meditation from there back in early May. And the thing is, I felt some of the most incredible Egyptian energies when I was there,
Really?
which again is verifying to me, like, oh yeah, this is part of the sun energy from solar cultures.
Now, this
that
all has to
crosses
do
over.
with Ascension.
Well, yeah, these are all components because we did an episode also, Christine, about the sun's role in the ascension process. And
The sun is energy.
and I mean it's the local God, it's the local manifestation of God that gives us a life, right? We wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for the sun.
Oh, for sure.
So obviously, it plays many more roles. There are beings, 6-dimensional, 7th-dimensional light beings who live in the sun, and I've had incarnations in those higher realms too. They're like we call them. One of the groups are called the Golden Solar League of the Solar Legions, and they're very angelic, but they're androgynous, higher dimensional beings that evolve to that level. So there's a whole thing about this divine love that's exchanged between the local star and its planet to help it raise its frequency. So and in truth, the Earth's core has this deeper. We talk about also in one of the Ascension shows, has a super condensed plasma. It's one of the scientists who's a physics professor at he was at least in Germany, called Professor Meyl, M-E-Y-L. He wrote a really interesting book they call Scalar Wave Physics, and he talks about, other scientists talk about the idea that there could be fusion going on inside the Earth, where that's part of the hidden power source, and that there's a super condensed plasma, almost like a mini sun inside the Earth's core.
Really?
It's not just a big ball of metal people talk about around it. That's more a layer of it.
And then there's heat coming from the middle of the Earth
Well,
as well.
it has to be that. That's how we have all this. Yeah, they all try to make it sound like, oh, it's only from old radioactive material from billions of years ago that's making the heat up and make lava. It's not. Earth is alive. It's not some dead stagnant thing. But these stupid scientists want everybody to think like everything is like inert, and it's just the planet. We're still doing it because it's billions of years old and energy's only from back then. And it's like no, she's alive. Everything's being created and death and renewal all the time, right? You see it in nature, but there's this disconnect. Modern science traditionally has, right, with so much of nature, and except the more evolved scientists understand, deeper connection. And can take more measurements of this other energy that's being created on many different scales. So the energy coming out of the Earth's core, that's basically just like, think of like a light bulb, not just a normal light bulb, but like a plasma, but gas you have that's ionized, and it gives us, you have those old school glass balls, and you move your finger around it, and like plasma, streamer follows you.
Yeah.
The idea is that so plasma looks like any gas that's charged. It can go through different. If you're putting enough electricity, it can go through it gets excited in different stages, right? If electron jumps up higher, makes a quantum leap, it's going to release a light of a higher frequency color, right? So if it's less energy, then it'll be a lower wavelength color. So the idea is also that this is about the chakra system in our body, and the Earth itself is moving from the third solar plexus, yellow, to green. So literally her inner plasma core is shifting. It's revving up like a turbine engine, like electric plasma engine, to supercharge and release this incredible green energy, because she's accelerating her plasma to literally make a quantum leap. And so before she does that, and part of the process, Gaia, she's releasing these it looks like just like our chakras, or like vortexes, right? So there are these vortexes that are coming out of the core of the Earth, and that's where these 7 locations, including the Philippines, is part of that, where these cones of light. And these cones were like also seen as like the symbol of the cornucopia, the prosperity, the abundant symbol of nature. And so I've done a bunch of meditations where we're tuning into these new inner Earth vortex cones, or inner Earth plasma cones, you can call them too, different words, because it's like the trumpet of Archangel of Gabriel, where it's like the voice of Gaia wants to be coming out to the surface to bring about the change of manifestation, and she's doing it in stages where she wants to shake it up. And so the guides told me last time before I came there's going to be a lot of earthquakes this year and more volcanoes, because this is part of Mother Earth doing her chiropractic adjustment
This is in the
to make room.
Philippines.
No, all around, not just if you,
All around the world.
Well, there's been in the Ring of Fire. There's been some of the most record number of earthquakes the past several months. They've had like huge amounts. And when I first got there was that giant one between Thailand and like Myanmar, and then it was literally half an hour after I did the group work in the Philippines. I just told the person I was with there was going to be earthquake soon, and half an hour later there was an earthquake that was in another part of the Philippines, and then other group work we did too. There was it happened so many times where it was like we couldn't keep track. No, but these are positive ones. They're not made by man by geo weapons or eco warfare that we have in other times.
This is just natural.
It's Gaia, because these are Gaia's making room. She's shaking up from the inside out more. It's like giving a chiropractic adjustment when your Kundalini goes up and you're clicking your back. So she's making room to clear out the dark shit that's all the dark crap underneath her, so the energy can flow better. And that cone of light is shaking all the ground and helping to release the negative records that have been stored there. And that pulse of light is not just it's not just ethereal. It's very physical. So but the problem is that some of the dark groups, they were trying to manipulate the different other locations. One of them was one of the other Phoenix locations that's in America is in Nebraska, actually, in the southeastern area of Nebraska. There were so many different defense contractors and negative groups trying to mess with that location, and my spirit guides were like, yeah, if this has to be course corrected, because if it doesn't get cleared, it could make more earthquakes, bigger, more dramatic ones here.
In other words, there could be earthquakes there.
Big problems. Everything is connected, so you can have one vibration. A lot of times you'll be an earthquake here in one part of the world, and it sends a wave through the mantle, and the earthquake appears of another part.
Right.
Because it's not, so it can be like a chain reaction.
Sure.
That kind of, So sometimes it's good because it can help disperse. A big one can manifest as smaller ones instead of all having just one explosion.
Which means that there'll be less damage.
Exactly.
Less life lost and all that.
Exactly. But if these idiots keep trying to block the flow, then Mother Earth's like, I'm going to shake harder then, because she's not going to be repressed anymore by these,
Can't blame her.
these energetic, vampires who are like trying to colonize her with, keeping humanity backwards and keeping us all inverted instead of, and distorted. So it's like she wants to help this process be sped up, not be slowed down. And so part of my work there was just, holding space in different locations to, so that make a little bridge there. So the Solar Temple of God becomes a bridge point for the original vision I saw with the sky ripples of time from the solar cultures, because now the Solar Temple of God was a more direct reason why there would be ripples in time from the sun over the area. And then with this new Phoenix energy coming from the core of the Earth, it becomes like a perfect continuum of this idea of this heart of Gaia, divine solar plasma beings, that are wanting to be like, and these higher angelic Phoenix energies that are here to bring about the resurrection, the transformation, the healing, the purging of the old, the real alchemy. So part of the work I had to do there was filling in the gaps underneath those mounds energetically, so that the solar temple could come up on a higher dimensional level. So when I was calling in different galactic beings, there was the energy of Sekhmet, and which is from Illyrion, is a higher planet of the lion humanoid, lion jaguar beings from Little Dipper. They were beaming in all these beautiful pillars of light that were being sent down the center of the mounds, and they were creating all these geometries around the base of the mounds, creating ripples of light to basically penetrate deep underground to fill in the gaps, so the energy would not be dispersed. We have more of a stable flow, like a lightning rod. To bring the lightning all the way down. In this case, bringing it up and down. So and then there's a higher 6-dimensional alien base that's in these areas by the mounds. And they first communicated with me telepathically. They're a bird tribe. They like to appear as speaking of Phoenix, as like a bird tribe. Think of like Horus from the Egyptian mythology. They're actually connected to the Horus energy, but a specific aspect of Horus that who was the falcon god, right, in Egypt, the son of Osiris and Isis. But Horus, there was one aspect of him called a city called Suten-Henin, that was an ancient city of Horus. But these higher beings, they had told me that they were actually part of a galactic version of that energy, that they were the ones who brought that energy here. And so they were calling themselves like Starheart Guardians of the Eye of Suten-Henin. So very strong, like warrior vibe to them. But Their name sounds pretty trippy. Their actual name they were channeling to me. They're called the uh, Suzozuzians. Suzozuzians. Suzozuzians.
Never
Yeah.
heard of it.
Well, yeah, there's this interesting six-dimensional name, but Suzozuzians, and then Starheart Guardians of the Eye of Sutenhenen. So they're bringing it a higher cosmic sun, Phoenix, Horus energy, along with the lion energies of that Sekhmet from the other group, and then Father Earth, Father Gab, and and then Isis Hathor energy from the Pleiades. They all were coming in over there to try to like baptize the area more, so it becomes more of a supportive linkage for that cone of light coming from the core of the earth, and then they could penetrate up to the surface and meet the sky. And so this is an ongoing thing because we were working on the other points remotely too. Like I said, it's a bit of like grid wars going on for control of certain key points that can also influence the planetary process and humanity's growth as well. So there has to be more work we're going to be doing. This is just the beginning of it, but this is the first like ignition where the energy is being activated and very powerful. And it's connected to the end of the Mayan calendar. Well, that was back in 2012, but there was a 13-year period from 2012 to 2025. My guides that's first showed me back then, and then other people have talked about this 13-year Mayan calendar period that was completing in 2025, where we're coming out of that part of the underworld. And so it's synced up with this idea for me as well, where it's like, oh yeah, now this is part of the Phoenix resurrection, or Mother Earth coming out from her, slumber to start to claim more of her body.
After 2025 stuff.
This is part of the ignition that we were going through. Well, what they originally showed me was that 2012. I think we talked about this in the Ascension episode too, that there was a wave in time, like a singularity or a wormhole in time that opened at the end of 2012, where a wave of love from the Creator, Divine Creator, was going back in time, and then it was trying to heal, sending love to ourselves to heal our cellular memory, of trauma we've had, say, as a child or years ago. So Earth is doing the same thing. She's trying to help us heal the trauma that humanity has gone through and is also inflicted on her body. So there's a lot of higher dimensional beings who are coming in to try to send love and heal timelines that have been distorted, broken, fractured. And so, like compressing a spring, and then you release it, and you have the rebound. That wave of love was coming back. They said now, starting at 2025, was the beginning of that return wave. And so this goes into bigger topics of some of the battles going on in time by positive versus negativity groups that are trying to manipulate humanity. And so the point is, this new wave of love is about trying to create a continuity, like a continuity of love flowing through time, so that we don't forget, so we start to remember and can fully raise up again. So a lot of these groups and different negative things have happened to try to make people forget our true history, forget our true inheritance, make people be more disconnected from their heart, forget who we are on a soul level. It's all about trying to put veils up so we don't remember who we are and how powerful we are if we really understand it.
So where does all this love come from?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's you, God.
Comes from the Supreme Being.
The one infinite Creator, yeah.
Oh, I see, yes. Okay.
It's a realm of existence that Creator had made. The love is a realm of vibration.
So now
it permeates everything, but there's schools of existence that are just based on love, vibration, and higher.
Okay.
And so there are planets that ring to that like a tuning fork, or like
Right.
a crystal bowl.
But
so
then we have the opposition that tries to thwart that
absolutely, who do everything they can to try to suppress it and block it. Yeah. And we see a lot of that going on.
But then they're really not succeeding because the Supreme Being is the one that's all powerful.
Yeah, it's just a matter of delays,
I
I mean,
see.
and also because certain negative groups have won and they've conquered other planets that the dark have taken over. So for them, they think so it's all different timescales.
They think they're doing all right, huh?
Of course, because they have their own empires, But this is not going to be part of it,
Will
and
there
that's
ever
the
come
point.
to a point where these empires are pushed out and destroyed, or
Well, I mean, for sure, and and it starts with us here, right? And also making that declaration that we're united, love, light, sovereign beings, and we don't consent to any trade deals. We don't consent to any treaties, contracts that our governments and secret societies, military defense contractors, intelligence agencies, all these groups. We don't consent to any of these groups secret deals that they've made with the negative extraterrestrial groups, because this is really the root of our problem. This is the core of what's blocking the ascension, is these dark treaties that were upgraded a few years ago in 2022 by a lot of these very powerful organizations, that think they have power over us, but they really don't. But they've usurped it, right? Like the real deep state and Illuminati families and powerful defense contractors that oftentimes have been several major defense contractors are also controlled by some of these powerful, wealthy families, of course, and they're used as a tool to further divide and expand their power. And we have to say, no, we're not here to be, part of a serfdom, a technocratic serfdom to anybody's desire, because the negative groups, they want to create a alien invasion scenario, from whole different levels. And that's a whole different topic, I talk about a lot of those shows. And this Phoenix energy is the exact antithesis. They're terrified of it because they know that when Gaia really starts to take back her power, the way we are as well, she's going to be cleaning them off her body very quickly.
So what is to be gained by these negative bodies, or whatever you want to call them? What do they gain by all this? Or what do they think they're going to gain?
I mean, it's all about power.
Power?
I mean, you're talking about beings who don't believe in love. So if they don't believe in love and there's a void in that heart, how do you fill that void? You can't fill that void.
No.
It's like a drug addict who keeps getting a stronger rush to feel something.
So then there's nothing to be gained.
Well, again, from our point of view, because we understand.
Right.
But from their point of view, if you're in that state, it's like you need something more and more of a bigger rush to because you're so desensitized. You need a stronger and stronger kind of drug or like rush to feel something.
In a way, you gotta feel sorry for them.
Yeah, I was just say on a higher level for sure, but then they also are very parasitic, so that they take energy from people because that's part of their power plays. Because for them it's twisting the idea of Darwinism. It's survival of the fittest. So they just see people. Well, you're either the predator or you're the prey. That's part of their basic rationale, very animalistic in that sense. So that's what divides a lot of them are very vampiric. They're so for their perspective, well, if you're not strong enough, then we're going to take from you because we can do better with it. Is their perspective. So it's all so it's very violating and very entitleistic. And then these very wealthy families that are been around for the ancient bloodlines. They're the ones who made the money system. So for them, money is not even an object anymore because they have more money than they can ever spend.
They'll ever need.
Yeah. So for them, it's about what's the next level? How do you get? It's like Monopoly game on a whole different scale.
Where will this all end? Will it ever end?
Of course, because the Earth is going. That's why Earth is going through the ascension process. But this has been going on for quite a while. But these are the key points because. Again, we need to rewatch the episode we did too, Christine, on the ascension, right? Because there's changes happening on the sun. There's changes happening on the galactic center, gamma rays coming from the galactic center, which is our central sun. There's a giant gas cloud that our solar system's going through. The magnetic field of the Earth is flipping. There's all these things happening concurrently, and they just want to brainwash us with the leftists and think that it's only about, climate change when it's so much more evolved in that, right? It's so many things going on. So this evolution of the Earth, is on a time cycle to go into the age of Aquarius. This is the ticking of the clock. So the next several years are key. And from 2028, 2030 is really major. 2030 is when they were showing more the bigger solar giant, like micro flares, giant flares are going to be coming from the sun that are part of this awakening. So activating the Phoenix points are important because that becomes Gaia's ability to properly utilize the new sun energy physically and spiritually to be able to kickstart her whole plasma engine or her new geometry, her new toroidal fields of love and light can expand around the magnetic field and really create this like sailboat that jumps up to the next realm. It's really a fundamental leap. And so we have to become more in tune with nature if we want to be in this body and not have harm to it, because there's a lot of forces also trying to make it hard for us to calibrate to those new energies. And if you see this with our weather and everything, where they're trying to manipulate a lot of weather also patterns that keep people, disturbed so that we're not fully centered in the comfort of being nurtured by nature. They want to make it seem like elements are out of control. Everything is wild. To stay inside, just be on your computer, it's part of this program of making people disconnected from the very source they should be seeking.
And afraid.
Yes, and afraid. Yes. Out of the heart, afraid. Yeah, exactly. So the first thing, that's what I'm saying, be in nature, be in the sun. You know, you need to go into, because the new codes that are ready to come up, do a meditation, ask Gaia, Mother Earth, Father Earth, Geb, and Egyptian, and the angels, give you the new codes that are ready and fulfilled to come up to you. When you're grounding nature, your shoes off, sitting on the ground or standing on the ground, no shoes on. The rubber blocks the energy and the soles, right? So unless it's like leather or something, you're good. So these are also why doing journeys like this are important. And I definitely will be, after I'm going to go back this coming year, because there's also bigger completion work I have to do there, different locations. And then the following year in 2027, I'm going to start organizing group retreats to go out to Bohol, to these hills, and to Boracay, and maybe one or other place, so people can experience the energies there, and the power of the ocean. And that goes into another segue. Boracay, which is the picture we had up earlier of that beach, one of the beach scenes of the sunset. There's a couple. Is that that island in Boracay? Yeah, there. That's and there's another picture I think too. I have a beach there. I don't know if you uploaded it. It's okay. Yeah, this island is magnificent. Except for I don't like to go there in February, March, because that's when there's a green algae season in one of the main beaches, it's not like the stinky algae here we have, when we have red tide. It's not like that. It's seasonal there, but I don't like to swim in that myself. So I went to the other side.
Yeah, I
of the,
wouldn't want to swim in
yeah,
that.
so I went to the other side of the island at the time where it's fine, so I compensated and traveled more as well. But just as a side note, so I'll probably be organizing conferences probably in May, because May was a gorgeous, perfect month there, and that water is amazing. But I was doing special work there, where we talk about this before in other shows. We call about the star heart, that there's this evolution of the heart chakra to help us receive more love from different positive galactic civilizations and from the earth as well. And so they were saying, my guides are saying that Boracay is becoming, that the oceans around it are getting charged by positive galactic groups, because they want to create more of a sanctuary space in that island energetically. And the phrase was to create a star heart oceanic light sanctuary. A star heart oceanic light sanctuary.
A physical place?
Well, Boracay, the island we just showed you,
I see.
that the island itself is becoming that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so at certain points around the island, because what I had to do there was I had to anchor certain energies from Andromedans, from certain other groups, Arcturians, positive group from Saturn, Jupiter, Pleiades. They were coming in to basically zap and bless the waters going into parts of the island to raise the frequency of it, and so that it can be able to hold space, to be more of a bridge, because when that energy is arcing from the Philippines, and as like a calm response, that vortex, it's like an arc. And one of my psychic friends also saw it as like an arc that was going up and then up to the galactic realms, and it was spiraling, when it came back into time, which is something we have to work on. That this kind of network connection, is a work in progress. Like plugging in, USB port, plugging a power socket, so electricity fully goes through. There is a higher geometric plugins between Gaia's body oracally and the higher galactic realms. And so there's, things going on that are trying to interfere with that plug-in process, and those things are trying to help her Merkaba, her beautiful crystalline field. Like think of like a crystal finding a bigger geode that it fits into perfectly, like a Lego set, or like a puzzle piece. So she's forging all these beautiful new plasma, like filaments, like hair strands of light that are reaching out to other parts of the universe that are reaching to us, so that coming together creates a click-in. And then we enter into that new plane of existence.
And what is the intention of the end result of all this?
Well, that's the ascension we're talking about.
Right.
It's when
but
they
the
be
ascension
done.
meaning everyone who is
Of that
a
heart
certain
vibration.
vibration
Yeah.
going to another realm.
But the Earth it's just the Earth is going to, Earth is becoming a new realm.
Oh.
It's not we're going. It's not. Yeah, it's the Earth is. That's the point. What we're
Okay.
physically doing is the
In
Earth
other
physically.
words, it'll be like heaven on earth.
That's the point. That's the whole point. It's not about this is the idea of the new kingdom. Yeah, this is manifesting it here. It's not about.
And how long do you think that's going to take?
Well, the point is that, of course, it's in stages, but it can happen very, very much faster than people ever can imagine. But it's because we've been so conditioned to hold on to all the bull crap that we don't understand the miracle of divinity that is available when we all work together collectively to focus on that and give permission for that to happen.
And when
know,
that
You know,
happens,
yeah.
does that eliminate the negative forces?
Well, it makes it inhospitable for them to be here.
Okay.
Let's put it that
So
way.
then it does then they have to go somewhere else.
Well, this is also, and this is being accelerated. That's why I'm saying it's a war going on now, because when we do group work every friggin' other week, I had to do so much group work from there. We work with positive galactic beings and angels, and we think of like being like the guards on the castle of Gaia, and you have to and you're trying to report it. And the positive armies are waiting on the other side of the gate, and they need somebody to open up the gate for them so they can come in and like reporting a crime, and you tell them, hey, there's someone's being attacked over here, but the door is locked. You open the door for the police, and police come in. So we do work like that where it's like reclaiming our own spiritual authority at a higher level, that we're like the stewards of part of this process of ascension. And so some of the more intense work we do is I do groups is more about strategic work like that, where they show us different negative grids that are being put up regularly by these dark groups that we need to take down. And so these dark grids are trying to influence humanity, manipulate our history, and affect us on all different levels. So I'm literally doing work like every week with groups to like and calling in the positive ETs to go after. Like we'll track what locations, what defense contractors, military groups, not just in the U.S. but other countries. This is a global thing, that's going on.
Does this have anything
yeah.
to do with the second coming of Jesus?
That's a whole well, the whole point is for me it's not about second coming. For me it's we are the second coming. It's a collective. He's not coming for me. I don't see anyone coming back individually. He's already here on a higher level.
Well, that's what I think.
Yeah, people are being delusional in my opinion with that.
I know people are saying, "Oh, Jesus is coming. He's coming."
No,
I said, "No,
you're waiting
he's
for that.
already,
You're
already here.
You're already missing the party. Yeah. It's because it's Age of Aquarius. He came in during Age of Pisces, individual, more of a Leo aspect, being a teacher. But the Aquarius is a collective. That's why the dark groups know that, and they keep trying to pervert the collective power to get the collective divided into false collectives, false groups that are locked around, only left versus right, or this is this or that, two options, no options outside of what we're telling you. It's just they want us to be divided and conquered instead of calling together the light of love that we're all supposed to be baptized in. They want us to fight against each other and not realize we're being controlled by the same enemy. So for me, the collective consciousness of Christ is what Gaia, Mother Earth, is the Christ. She's becoming the living female Mary, Christ, Sophia, Hathor. She's the Christ being, Mother Earth, Mother, Father Earth. So she's waking up to that level to create the school for that and for that energy. And so, of course, she wants to help all of her children receive that new flame of love, and create this spark in us. So even the fairy kingdoms, the elementals, they're all getting upgraded to kind of receive this new transmission, of love's emission. And that Phoenix energy is part of that delivery system, and helps us open up our angelic bird wings and the heart chakra and the back of the heart to be cleared out. So anyway, so I thought there was another point I was trying to get to with all that. What was it? So Oceanic, Starheart Light Sanctuary in Boracay. Because when I first got to Boracay, there was a lot of heavy dark grids going on there. We had to clear out. There was like dark cube energies coming from Thailand, and there was a lot of. And I had to start remote viewing a lot of dark bases, alien bases, and stuff going on in other countries that were trying to influence these areas in the Philippines. And I'm like, no, get out of here. So the guides had me on like a steward duty, as like a cleanup duty, to see who's who in the local neighborhood and who's trying to mess with the power there, and try to hold space for the good light there, and to really realize there's a lot more going on, in some of these, not just Western Illuminati families in Europe, it's also Eastern Illuminati families, right, that have been around, that have made deals with the dark groups to try to control populations. And so that's why it's even more important to have a place like here where we can have more of a sanctuary space. Like, no, this place is christened. And it's funny because actually Philippines did do, while I was there, it was the First Nation, they actually did a ceremony at another location, even though I'm not a fan of the Catholic Church, but there was a kind of like a christening, so to speak, where they were dedicating the Philippines as a country. The leadership is dedicating the country to like the mercy of God and to the mercy of Christ. They actually would, so that's the first country to be dedicated to that.
And when did this happen?
While I was out there,
Really?
which is so. There's a lot of things that happened timing wise. It was really interesting. And like we had the defense secretary go there because there's a whole drama between China going on and
Oh, boy.
China trying to expand its powers through all the South Asian waters, and so there's that happening as well. And so it's good that there's U.S. support, even though I don't like a lot of the U.S. stuff that's going on. I don't, I like less the drama from the Chinese, the dark side, trying to infiltrate into these beautiful areas, right? So it's good to have some support there from the U.S. for sure.
So how do we become
anyway,
part of this collective consciousness that will result in most everyone ascending?
It's not about most everyone. It's going to be it'll be a much lower percentage than I think. Well, I mean, I'm not going to talk about percentages. That's not really relevant. Who's
You don't think that everybody's going to make it?
Well,
No?
definitely not.
Well,
No,
definitely not the
I mean,
negative forces.
No, but a lot of people are just not ready for it. They're going to reincarnate, and a lot of books talk about
Oh,
that
I
too.
get it. They'll have to reincarnate
On a different
until they get
planet.
it.
On a different planet, not Earth.
On a different planet.
Yeah, because Earth isn't going to tolerate anybody's bullshit.
So,
Just get
so
out of
Earth,
here. Tired of
Earth
this
is
crap.
going to be a very different place.
That's the point. Yeah, you can't recycle the old people that don't get the point already. They have to go back to stage one and start over again and learn their school lessons.
Well, there's a program that's
So,
on, and I haven't watched
that's how the
it.
real loving adults here to get the other people out of there for now.
That's true. But there's a program on
thousands of years of this.
television that's fairly new now. I haven't watched it because I really don't believe in it. And it's called Life After Man, where there's no people at all. Everything's just overgrown and taken over by animals. I don't believe this crap.
No, there's a lot of manipulation in media where a lot of the stuff is pre-fronted, like loaded, where they want to
Even
create
shows
these
that they make up.
Oh, no, so many shows are giving us information of what they want to create, or like some things are happening on, like Marvel has shown us so many different negative alien groups that are actually real, that have been involved in manipulating us over and over again. Marvel has been amazing with that way, even though they've gotten dark side with certain things they've created.
Have you seen the commercials for this show, though?
And no, not that one, no. But
shows the Statue of Liberty is on its side.
That's the one. Okay, that is that show. Okay,
Okay.
I didn't know the name of it.
Yeah,
again,
Life After Man.
Again, they're trying anything they can to dislocate
That's why I
us.
don't even bother watching it,
Yeah,
because
make
I
people-
don't think it's true.
They want to disconnect us from calibrating to the proper timeline. They want to make people feel on the quantum level. This is only option A or B or C, and and it's all doom and gloom. And it's like, no, we're getting rid of that. This is the point. Is
I
that
just sit there and say, this is not going to happen.
no. And it's this is another reason to
I
keep
know where they're
more of the
getting these
discernments.
ideas from.
Well, again, because it's trying to distract people and divide people, and they want to feed negative timelines. So feeding a negative timeline, you have to present that timeline to people in ways that are digestible, i.e., media, movies, marketing, books,
Yeah, that's
subliminal
true.
messages, commercials.
There's a lot of baloney that they put out there.
And then it's done on more subtle levels where they project structures, hologram-like structures, on a quantum level to keep people stuck in relationship to time, so we're not even aware that we're being corralled into one or two options. And they're doing that on a massive scale to a lot of different people. That's something else we have to work on a bigger
I know
level.
people follow like sheep.
Yeah, but there's so much, because there's also been so much manipulation on such subtle scales, people don't even realize they're being manipulated, and that's where the danger is.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more reason why we need to be like, okay, let's shake out of that inertia, get back in nature, focus on the heart, doing a meditation, do sun work, and really focus on your heart fire and fanning positive interpersonal relations to whatever community you're in. You need to get that love vibration circulating both in your personal space and in your network space, and then receiving it from above and below, right? And calling it from your guides. And if you're into that positive alien idea, then that's. I also do Zoom work every month, and also here in New York. Now that I'm back in New York, for those local people at the Obelisk in New York City, I do the group meditations out there in the warm season at the Obelisk in Central Park, and also Zoom it from there. And but they're very powerful. It's not just normal where we're going after these dark structures and calling in energies to really deconstruct it, so we can make room for the good energies that support the ascension to come in. So
let's hope
it's an ongoing work, and it gets tiring too, though.
I bet it does.
I get a lot of attacks from a lot of groups that are like trying to take me down. I'm like, no, stop.
But the end result will be rewarding.
Absolutely. Oh, definitely.
Yes. So.
And try to get any last words about that part. So also in Cebu area where I was doing work, and obviously Bohol is off of Cebu. So part of that Phoenix energy is definitely coming into Boracay, Bohol, parts of Cebu. On the other side of Cebu, I was in Moal Boal, I can always pronounce it wrong. It's another beach on the western side of Cebu, overlooking another province where there was we got the day before a volcano started going off, and I think I think that was a picture I might have not included. I think I sent that to Tommy instead. Yeah. Anyway, it's a side note, but there's a lot of movement going on, and so the energy is spreading. And so the point is, it's not just these 7 locations; it's like a fractal wants to spread out. Like arteries to smaller veins to capillaries.
Okay, and that'll be
so the
it.
point is this being able to create that
Right.
distribution system for Gaia's new cornucopia, her new love harvest that wants to come in into all different
And
size
let's hope
scales.
we all get to see
you know.
it.
Oh yeah, it's happening
the
now. Well, that
meantime-
process is happening now. It's a matter of tuning into saying, okay, like I want to.
Yeah.
I like it's like asking Gaia to shine that spotlight to you and step into that field.
In the meantime, though, we have to say goodnight.
Oh yes, that's right. Blessings, everybody. Yeah.
And thank you very much for tuning in. This has been a very interesting conversation. I hope that most of us who are watching will make it to this ascension. We're looking forward to it because it'll be like a utopia, and we all want that. Everybody have a good night.